so thrilled to be here today. Welcome. We've got an awesome way we're going to start the week together with a very special live audience episode of the show. And we're thrilled that you're here with us. We're going to get get the roof blown off this place. Let's rub our hands together, get ready to expand, get ready to rise. It's always so fun when we get to come together with our live audience here at the Rise and with our getting in our powerful energy, getting expanded. And today you are in for a huge treat because we are going to be talking about book success. Okay. We're going to be talking about that journey from I have this idea, the big magic has tapped me, and it's my time to bring this creation into the world. You're going to be meeting the amazing, brilliant, and beautiful Christina Niles, who is just launching her book now. Our next amazing bestseller, thought leader that we get to talk to today. And you're going to hear about Christina's journey, about her new book. And I'm going to give you some really exciting updates from what's going on with my book 7 that I've just started. So we have some really great stuff. So all things books. All right. So those of you in our live audience, we're thrilled that you're here. And today is book day. All right. We're going to be talking about this journey of book writing from when the big magic taps you all the way through to your bestseller launch and beyond. And we're going to just be pulling together, gleaning some nuggets from Christina's journey. And I'll be sharing some really exciting updates that are going on over here. So let's take a deep breath together. Let's get ready to expand, get ready to rise. And I want all of you who are, when you're those of you on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook and everywhere that you're watching this, and those of you here in the live audience with us, I want you to think about where you are in this journey, right? And some of you might be multi-books in, like some of us are. Some of you might be thinking about that first one. So I'm going to bring Christina on because we're going to have a powerful conversation. There's nothing like being with someone right at the moment when their book is finally coming into the world. So Christina, come on down. We're so excited to have you here. Thank you for making some time in this very busy and full and abundant launch period that you're in. Congratulations
Thank you.
on your incredible new book. And we're going to introduce everyone to you and the book. But do you want to just tell people where you live and then hold that beautiful book baby up so we can get into our discussion?
Behind me. So I'm Christina and I live in Naples, Florida. Grew up in New Jersey, so I'm a diehard Jersey girl. Jersey never leaves the girl, that's for sure. And I'm a holistic recovery coach. So
Mhm.
that was actually something that my calling for that specific role actually came when I wrote my book.
Yes, because we're going to talk about that. We can go in with a vision, right? And those of you that have done books, you know this. You can go in with a vision of what your book's going to be, but the book is going to work you, right? The book shows us, right? Source shows us through the book what it wants to be. It takes us on a journey. So, Christina, let's go ahead and go there, right? You now are really anchored in your calling as a holistic recovery coach. Do you want to share with people a little bit about what that means? Just like so people that maybe don't have the context, haven't had the privilege of meeting you yet. Let's talk a little bit about that specific niche that you have, your thought leadership there, and then we're going to talk about your book journey.
So I primarily work with men and women who are stuck in self-sabotaging behavior. So I think of it as recovery beyond a 12-step program. So it's
Mhm.
not really just for, say, alcohol addiction, which was what I had. When I wrote the book, I realized that I had been addicted to many things throughout my life and hadn't actually healed from them. So I became sort of an addiction hopper. Um, Alcoholism has been my biggest battle, but I realized that, there's so many people that are stuck in a dark place that don't have the tools to get unstuck and move forward. And so a lot of times they find themselves just cycling in these self-sabotaging patterns of
Yep.
behavior, of thought. And so that's the recovery piece that I work on. So although I do attract a lot of people like myself who are recovering alcoholics, you
Yeah.
know, I think about it as think about thriving in whatever recovery path you're on. And if you're in a 12-step program, because some people opt to not go that route, but it's not replacing that. It
Yeah.
is beyond that. It is like
Yeah.
next level. It is thriving in my life, thriving on my
Yes.
recovery journey, and just continuing the healing journey, because like I even went on a whole new healing journey when I wrote the book, which was so
Yeah.
surprising to me.
Right?
So now I get to
It's
share
like
it with other people.
right. And so the book worked you. And I
Yes.
think this is something that happens here, certainly in Thought Leader Academy. I don't know if it happens everywhere, but certainly the way we certainly it seems like the way we are all doing our books. And it's certainly my experience is that, the book is working us. And then at that point, we bring something new into the world. And well, like you said, it wasn't a passive experience. Oh, I'm just gonna bang out this book and, put the stuff I know and call it a day. It worked you and took you on a ride, right?
Yeah.
And now look, you are here, radiant, sober, glorious, a beacon of, light for so many of us and a thought leader in this space. So let's talk about when you initially, okay, so we've had the privilege of getting to work together, in Thought Leader Academy, and we're going to Greece together, and all the Thought Leader adventures, all these wonderful things. You've been in Times Square and had the preview of your book up on the billboard. And so when you originally set out to write your book, what did you think it was going to be?
It wasn't, I had no plans to write a book. Like I quit my full-time job. I wanted to work on my health. I was certified health coach. I wanted
Mhm.
to own my time. I wanted to own my life. I had this opportunity to try it, to take a risk and try it. And I was going to write a digital course for caregivers.
Isn't that funny to think about now?
Because I'm a caregiver for my mom. She has Alzheimer's. So I was going to go that route. And I channeled this entire book. It's just one of those things where, you make a plan and God laughs at it. He's like, yeah. No, 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 no. I have other plans for you. But like,
Isn't that cute? It's
yeah,
like, oh, isn't
yeah.
that cute? They think
But
they're going
it's
to do
good.
this.
Like
Yeah.
he's still, my God was like, I'm glad you're getting into action, but I just want you to pay attention to the signs and just trust the process and follow the breadcrumb trail. And when I started to write it, I was like, why am I writing about my sober story? Why am I writing about like my eating disorder? Why am I writing
Right.
about my like toxic relationship with a man and becoming addicted to a person? And I was like, just go with it. Just go with it and see where it leads. And
Mhm.
I just knew like this was my calling. And I knew that I needed to trust the process. And I also knew like what I have learned in recovery. I'm almost 14 years sober. I'm celebrating my 14-year
Woo!
week, a
I
week from
know.
today. But what I've learned along the way is like, it's not about me. It's not about me. So whatever my plans were for me, as they were shifting, I just had to trust that God had a better plan. And I really feel like I just channeled this whole book because I was like,
Mm.
where are these stories coming from? Like they're my stories, but also I talk about the pain, but then I also like I was like, I readily have a solution. Like who wants to read
Yeah.
about the pain and not
Right.
have the solution?
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't have an outline. I didn't have it just flowed out of me the way that it did. I worked with my editor, just to kind of with the
Yep.
structure. And this is, yeah, and this book, literally, I don't think I've ever felt in my life more completely aligned
Mm.
in every area of my life, my personal life, my emotional, my physical, my spiritual health life. This book brought that alignment into my life. And it's like, I literally just feel like, I don't know. I was on a high when I got sober, but this is like a different
Yeah.
level.
And it's a good kind of high, right? It's creative high, gift to the world, right? Like passion high, like we get to, contribute. So Christina, this is so exciting because you what you did is you surrendered what you thought it was going to be and let it take you where, and it isn't just your book, it was where your whole vision wanted to take you, your calling, what kind of coach you are, what kind of support you give people. The book is a portal to that transformation and that recovery and that thriving and that life in addition, 12-step plus or not, whatever your thing is, right? I think at this point we're all I mean, I'm just, I've walked an addiction recovery path for 25 years, but also I think just like the fact that I don't want to go anywhere without this near me is, that's an addiction too, right? Um, and so this is so exciting because you surrendered and allowed it to take you, to something even greater, right? A greater sense of what I'm hearing is alignment, understanding who you really serve and the transformation you provide for them, because you realize, oh, these solutions are here. I do have them, and in a really focused way. So when you think about that, you was going to write the home care recovery, helping caregivers, right? You're going to write the caregiver book, and then you're holding
Yeah.
self-help, self-healing right now, right? And how it's taken you somewhere new. What you talked about this sort of high, like in a different way than becoming sober. So what was the most challenging thing about the process? And then let's talk about what's already, even though the book is just launching now, what's been the most exciting?
I mean, it wasn't challenging to write. People think like, I was even asked the question, were you ever like hesitant or afraid to write about some of the things you wrote about in the book? And I was just like, not once.
Yeah,
I just didn't even go there. I didn't even think about that. And if I keep that to myself, I'm not serving myself or other people. If I keep
sure.
my secrets to myself. Um, I think the hardest part of the process was just having to read the book like 10 times during the proofreading process. Like,
It's
it was after the
exhausting.
book was written. It's like just
Yeah.
that finish line was probably the hardest part because I didn't know what to expect. And it was like a very interesting process.
Right.
And it's very hands-on and you're very involved. So it's funny because I like had this love-hate relationship with the book right before it got published. I was like, I don't
It's
even want
very normal, by the way. Very
I'm
normal.
so sick of the book. And now I'm running these healing circles. I launched healings, like a 6-week healing circle with the book that I'm now running on repeat. And I am going through the book with
Mm,
people in my healing circle. And I'm like, oh my God, is this my book? Like I'm reading it in a completely different way. And
right?
yet still taking new things out of it and learning about myself from my own words. Like it's crazy. So one of the most rewarding things about it is seeing the shifts in the people that I'm working with, whether they're in my healing circle or not, the response that I'm getting from the book and like how like everybody can take something from it. And it's not something to be put on the shelf and not go back to. It's literally a tool that
Yeah.
you can come back to again and again and refer to whatever piece of the book is relevant to your life and your experiences at that time. I mean, it literally
Yeah.
is goes right into your healing toolkit. And I mean, if I am grabbing for it for my own personal journey, I mean,
Right.
like imagine what my readers are getting out of it. So that's actually been very rewarding. I'm like now on this like another whole self-discovery journey, like with my circle, and they get to go on the journey with me. And it's so fun to be able to celebrate them as they gain clarity. And, they come to me and they are confused, they're overwhelmed, they don't know what they want. They are, just completely scattered and just they don't even know why they're stuck. They don't have tools. And so
Yeah.
by the end of the 6 weeks, they're walking away with a toolkit, a toolbox
Yeah.
full of practices. And then, we move on from there and we, create a roadmap and, I work with them to implement everything and create the routines and literally design a new lifestyle so that they can thrive in this recovery journey and not just, we can have the tools, but what good is it if we don't know how to use them or if we're
That's
not
right.
constantly using them? So it's just been really cool to see the shifts already so early on. And to get the feedback from people who are telling me what they're getting out of the book that really surprises me. I'm just like, wow, that's really cool that you were able to
What's
apply.
been one of the most surprising things? That's a great place, because we had this cool layering. Like first you were writing the book and going on a new journey of your own alignment, self-discovery, refining of who you're really, here to be as a thought leader, right?
Yeah.
So you had that experience with it. Now you're running healing circles where you're taking groups of people through the book. And what was one thing that surprised you that someone got out of the book that you didn't expect?
I think that the piece at the end on creating the life you want, whereas so this is less like story, but it's more step-by-step process, my time
Mhm.
management system, because at the end it's kind of like, okay, we have all these great tools. Like now, how do we create this life? How do we create the space? And the reaction to like they didn't even realize that how they were mismanaging their time had
Mhm.
such an impact on the fact that they weren't like why they were scattered, why they didn't have clarity. And so that piece is so important too. And I think it's just a surprise to people when they get there and they're just kind of like, oh, I actually need a little help with the time management piece here, and maybe this is like a piece too that I've missed. Another one was in the chapter about the ex-boyfriend and my addiction to a relationship. Um, yeah, I had a friend say, she's like, wow, that really helped me with my brother. I was like, really? In like what way?
Mhm.
She's like, I didn't realize how codependent I was in my
Right.
relationship with my brother. I'm like, oh my God. Like, and she's not, there's no addiction in her experience in her
Yeah.
family. It was just something
Yeah.
that she got out of that chapter. So I was like, wow, I'm like, I think it'll be interesting to learn like all the different things that people are taking from different parts of the book.
Absolutely. So Christina, you're having this moment. You're bringing the book into the world. It's just launching now. You're running is this the first circle of people going through it right now? Okay.
Yeah.
And then you'll run those, ongoing, right? You'll have the healing circles. And you are on your own continued discovery journey because you're working the work, and the work is working you, and all all those great things. So what is there anything else you want people to know, those who are listening, who are thinking about doing a book, they're in the middle of the book, they're getting ready to, you talked about like be prepared that the finish line can feel, really, a lot with the proofreads and the formatting for those of us that have just, gone through the publishing process. Anything else you want people to know who are in this right now or thinking about it?
I mean, just know that going into it that, your plans and God's plans might be different. So if you're shifting while you're writing the book, don't let that freak you out. Just sort of go with it because like I
Mhm.
said, I feel like I channeled this whole book and it's like if you're really passionate about writing and look, we all have stories that we want to tell, we all have messages that we want to get out there, but I really truly believe that there's a divine power that's going to guide you in the right direction. Like my God told me like no, 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 no. No, that's not the message that I want you to put out into the world. You're supposed to be over here. Like you
Mm.
didn't get sober to talk about caregiving. You got sober to
Right.
help other people that are
Mhm.
that having those struggles being so God is going to lead you and just trust the universe, trust God, and just write, allow yourself to write. Don't get caught up
Mhm.
in the like I'm stuck today or I'm not really following my outline or trying to fit your vision into this box. Just be like a little bit more free flowing with it and just let it arrive
Mhm.
as it may.
Yeah.
Surprise yourself.
Well, we're so thrilled for you, Christina, and congratulations on being willing not only to do the work of writing a book, but to let the book take you in a completely new direction, to have the faith and the persistence to stick with it all the way through, and now to be able to help so many people. So, the best place for people to get it is Amazon. Where would you like people to go and
Oh,
get where you?
Amazon for sure. They can also my website, I can put it in the chat, is
Yep.
selfhealingessentials.com. So you would have immediate access to get it as well.
Okay, so everybody, and Christina, if you want to stay on for a minute, put the link in the chat.
Yep.
Anyone that wants to get Christina's book, so you can I'm sure who else would probably get help with nothing else even than what Christina you shared at the end about our time management and seeing where we are with that. But we all are likely sabotaging ourselves in some way. So you can go to Christina's website, you can go on Amazon and get the book immediately. It is for sale. And Christina, you're a best-selling author. Like that is so exciting. So happy for you. A lot of people, we all know the stats, 200 million people in America alone say they want to write a book, and most of them will never do it because not because they don't want to and have a great idea, but because it just either feels too big, too scary. Other things are more important. So you can even use Christina's time system to help you make your time for the life you want if it's writing your book. So congratulations. We know so many exciting one. You're going to celebrate your 14-year sobriety, and a book event, and all kinds of things are coming for you in the next couple weeks. So really, really, we're all wishing you, continued best, and you don't need good luck because it's already, you're already here doing the work you came to do in the world. So everybody grab Christina's book, share it with anyone in your life who might be struggling with any kind of self-sabotage, addiction, codependency. Christina really is a living embodiment of this work and the real deal. And we're so excited, Christina, everything that's going to come from here.
Thank you
Congratulations.
so much. Thank you.
So amazing. Okay, everyone. So we'll put that in on all the channels. Those of you that are streaming in on YouTube and everywhere, we'll put Christina's book link there and her website so that you can follow along with all that she's doing. So I want us all to think about where we are. You've just heard Christina's book journey, right? It started with I'm not even thinking about doing a book. I want to, focus on building a business. Then Christina, got sucked in here, right? And we know in Thought Leader Academy where it's like books are so important, especially now more than ever, because people need to see a flag in the ground and understand your expertise in under 2.9 seconds so they can see your book cover, your topic, your name, and understand that you're a trusted expert in this space. And then it turned into, oh, this wasn't the book I thought I was going to write, and you surrendered to the book that wanted to come through you, and not only the book but the work in the world, the people that you're here to serve. Remember, books are the gateway that people can come to get the greater transformation with us, at least the way we do them here in this community. So it's really, really exciting. And those of you that are earlier in the journey, hoping that this gave you a lot of inspiration and excitement about what's possible. And so be thinking about, ooh, I like the idea of, running a group that does my book right around the time of my launch. You might want to take that idea away, or maybe you've been fighting to hold on to what you thought the book was going to be instead of where the book is guiding you. And then maybe that's an opportunity this week to think about surrendering to the book that wants to come through you, right? If you read if you're more in the secular space versus the thinking about it as, God's book, you can think about Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic, and that was the idea that the book comes to you and says, will you write me? And we can say yes or no, right? And it'll tell you where, the universe, life, the muse, whatever words we've all called this as human beings, if it's truth for you, to say God, like you're being guided on the path. And the book isn't about you. Christina talked about that, right? The books aren't about us. They're about the transformation that life wants to give to people in the world. It's a call and response. So this is really, really exciting. So a couple of updates. I want to share something extraordinary because Christina's got we call it big C energy, right? Big Christina energy, big C energy. And Christina, when you stepped into big C energy, I saw the shift in you. That's when it was like, okay, game on. I'm going to let this book come through me. I'm going to be the person that, is going to step into this and be the thought leader in this space. So, many of you know, I've shared a little bit about this. I got my next tap from Big Magic, the book that I was going to write next, book number 7, and that came through fourth quarter-ish of last year. And I was finishing another book, The Millionaire Codes, which just came out, and then I knew this was next coming through. And the minute around, mid-December, when I gave my full body yes to this new book, the download, so many things started to change. I got taken on a journey, like what Christina is talking about. And I'll be sharing a lot more about that as I'm writing. I know enough because it's book 7 to understand I'm not going to control the process fully, but I didn't expect to have so much like internal change. Like Christina, you're talking about going on my own transformative journey. And I found myself prioritizing other things, right? So even on book number 7, I know how to get a book done, but this is a very different book. It's not a book based on my business. It's a book I'm creating the framework. It's a whole new thought leader book. And so I just wasn't feeling like I was giving it the space and time that I really, really wanted to be giving it. And especially knew it wasn't going to be, done in an efficient way if it was continuing to get like just the fumes. Okay. If anyone else put fumes in the comments or their chat, if sometimes you give your book fumes at the end of the day after all the urgent, important, stuff. So that was kind of happening, even though I know I'm aware of it and all that stuff. And so I really got on my knees. This was about 2 weeks ago. And I just said, universe, please help me make this book a priority. Like, please help me make it a priority because I know my soul is saying, write this. I know it's important. And in fact, it's like it's a P1, like a priority 1. And 24 hours later, I had been asked to do a Zoom with someone as like a friend of, someone said, would you, talk to this person? She already, she has a publishing imprint and traditional publishing. I thought, sure, it's like a colleague call. We can talk to, be sort of a collegial call. And long story short, that call ended up leading to an entirely new book deal for this book, a new partnership that I'll be sharing more about. Like, it has been extraordinary. It also meant I signed a contract in writing legally to have this book finished by a certain date this year. And so now that real, true, please help me make this a priority was addressed very, very, very quickly. And now it's legal. Like I can't change this date. Like, it's not an option. And so I want to share that because maybe some of you want to have a, you know, come to the muse, come to Buddha, come to Jesus, come on your knees moment around your top priority right now. If it's your book or another project, I wasn't planning on sharing any of this today. It just is what's coming through, and and really getting that moment of on my knees, whatever that is for you. Maybe you're not a on your knees person, but that's my when I really mean it, when I'm just like, okay, look, obviously I'm in the way. I am not aligned. I'm not lined up right now. And it was my moment of surrender. Like, use me, take me. And the fact that so quickly I am now in a contract. I wrote 5,000 words this weekend. 5,000 words this weekend, not because I would have done that otherwise, but because I now have this commitment, right? So whatever you need that to be, right? Those of you in Thought Leader Academy, you've got your editors, you're working with our team, put those commitments in place like Christina was talking about. But what is it, is that important for you? Are you at a point with your priority project this year? We're coming up on the 6-month point in the year. This is time. It's the time right now to get relined up with what matters most, right? And so for me, that was just saying, hey, I'm not of my own will able to make this the priority that I know that it is and needs to be. Please help. And that created this experience in this container where now it absolutely will happen. And I'm going to be writing every single day in large, I still have the same 24 hours. I still have 2 businesses. I still have a child graduating from 8th grade, in a week and a half. I'm still doing a speaking engagement a week. None of that's changed. But my focus and the fire under me is now at a place where this is a non-negotiable. And before, it was still something I was negotiating. Okay, so I just want you, between what Christina shared, and in case I just felt suddenly moved to share that. So for anyone that resonates, this could be your day. Soon as we get off this episode, to bow down, kneel down, hands together, whatever that is for you, and just say, line me up. Right. And then buckle up, because when when the answer comes, are we going to say yes? Right. Are we? And that's what we'll continue to work on. So, so that's the report here. That's what we want to focus on today. Upcoming, just everyone keep your eyes open. We're opening up founding members only into the new Monetize Your Book Club. So this is those of you in Thought Leader Academy, you're getting this, of course, as your gift. Anyone that's not already training with us, this is our chance every single month to talk about how we make daily sales with our books. Whether you're thinking of doing a book and you want to set it up with those systems from the beginning, whether you have a book, you're in the middle of writing a book, this is where we're going to be looking at one strategy every month to make daily sales with the book, and actually going through the specific co-working. Here's the template or the worksheet or the exact step-by-step, and then we're going to be co-working together every single month to apply it. So watch your inbox and invitations if that's something that you want to come in with our founders group, which is going to open up really soon, like in the next week or two. So yeah, it starts, we're going to open up for founders in June, Charla, and then it'll meet monthly. Again, if you're already in coaching with us, this is part of your membership. And then if you aren't already and want to do, especially the founding members, we're going to have a lot of special things that we'll be doing. So super excited. The monthly sessions will start in July, but we'll have some special founding member activities in June. All right, so we'll keep you posted on all of that. Let's all go out there and be in integrity with our visions, meaning if we say it's a priority, we actually show up accordingly this week and make it the priority. Life will move around your vision when we prioritize the vision, right? We build the life around the vision instead of letting the vision get what's left at the end of the day. So Yeah. So just know that right where you are, the time, the clarity, the inspiration, the resources, whatever is needed, just expands out. It's going to expand out around your vision once you decide that you're in no matter what. And sometimes that's a daily realignment. We can be all in and then the next day we get to recommit. All right, everyone, let's go out and we'll do a little, I was sharing with our Oracle group, wake up, kick ass used to be my motto that my friend from growing up reminded me. So we're already up, but let's go kick some ass this week. All right, everybody, great job. We'll see you next time. Bye.